Thank you so much for being on the Soulish podcast, Andrew Rowe. It's so good to have you back. Gosh, I had you back in the summer, and it's been quite a journey for you since we last have met. And I just want to update everybody, anyone who doesn't know the work, the beautiful work that you do. It's amazing and so powerful. You are a masterful energy healer that is able to identify root beliefs and help people understand their nature and reason for being. And you have this amazing, beautiful process of taking people through kind of like a therapy, a deep energy healing that basically also addresses their vibrational body and healing that as well. And you're able to help people release energy that is stuck in past memories or past lives. Every session is different because everyone is different, and you also tailor the work that you do to each individual person. So it's just amazing and beautiful work that you do. You channel the highest, best possible healing for each and every client that you have for long lasting changes. That's your goal. And your life purpose is to bring people back to their authentic truth, which I believe that you do that so that they can shine their way. And I just love the work that you do. It's so beautiful. And you have a My Authentic You program, and you have one spot open. So I'm going to say that from the beginning so people know, book. And if they are interested in working with you, they can also go to your Instagram, which I have linked in the show notes. So you guys can go click on that. And also I'll provide the linked your like little LinkedIn on your profile so that people can just go straight to your website as well for those who are really interested in working with you. We just got through a beautiful session. Thank you so much for your time in helping me work through stuff. It was so beautiful, just the process of going through different things that I was aware of, and then other things that I was not, aware of at all. And I just love the work that you do because you do it in your unique way, and nobody can do it like Andrew Rowe. And and I just love, you have such a beautiful energy about you, Andrew, that is just, it's infectious. Like it is infectious. You just, even on your Instagram, your stories, like I can't help but giggle right with you when you're like skipping through a field with your dog, and you're just a beautiful human being in of yourself. And then the work you do is just even more beautiful. So I just want to thank you for that. And I'd love for people to just hear about, I know you talked a little bit about your journey, so I don't necessarily want to repeat that, but you've had quite a transformational year, even from the time that we last talked, and lots has changed for you. Maybe what are some highlights or things that you would like to share
Yeah.
from that?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me back. Thank you for sharing your energy in our session. It was really, really beautiful to be able to give back in that way. So thank you. So yes, it has been lots of things have been going on in my life. I guess let's say, what are the positive things? Just my business just keeps on flourishing. I keep on getting to work with amazing people and getting them have amazing results. And I think in summer I had done one round of my program, and then since then I've done 3 more rounds of it, which is really great. And I've always had such incredible clients on it. And before it was really this idea of like getting people from limited to limitless, and things have changed. Now it's really about getting people to step more into their authentic selves. And that's my new like vision and goal. And I feel that is very aligned to who I am, because I believe I embody my authentic self as much as possible in everything that I do. And I know that that makes me a happier person. And I know that more and more people are looking to see what their true authentic selves are, because we have been conditioned to believe one thing, but actually what our soul really wants is something totally different. So I would say that the highlight is definitely this new vision and brand and idea and the scope of where it can go, and being this spokesperson on authenticity. So that's definitely a highlight.
Such a highlight. it's been really cool because I actually yesterday went back and listened to our first episode together because I was like, I just need to refresh. This was back in the summer. I need to remember because it was so good. It was so good to re-listen to because we talked a lot about your journey of coming out of darkness and into the light and just
Yeah.
and how that was for you and learning how like being really acquainted with darkness in order
Yeah.
to help people shift through that. But part of your journey has also been to step into your most authentic, highest expression, right? Authentic self. And so it's beautiful that you've kind of basically your work has also shifted into that focus because that was something that you also like have personal experience and, working through. So, um, I know that some of the things with that we just talked about in our session that I think would be helpful for people to relate with, to work through themselves, is that belief that we are not enough. That is
Mm,
something that I think everybody can relate to. And I know that we just also did that work. And for me, it was for everyone, it's very personalized. It
mm,
comes from personal experience, childhood, right? Things that
mm,
have been repeated and said. Um, and I just want to see if you don't mind sharing with people like part of how to recognize when we
mm,
are believing that we are not enough.
mm.
Like we can say, I would probably say to you, oh yeah, I believe I'm enough. Like I don't believe that I'm not enough for that or I'm unworthy. I would say
Mm.
that, but clearly there was
Yeah.
there was other
Yeah,
beliefs there.
absolutely. And I think the thing is here, Whitney, is that the enoughness onion is a very multi-layered onion. And what we worked on together is one fraction of the enoughness. And it will show up and come up in different places. And they say, new level, new devil. I mean, I don't like calling it that, but like
Yeah.
when you up level, you're going to be faced with some new things that you need to overcome. And I've definitely noticed with every single client that I've worked with, the enoughness is such a huge, huge part of where we're meant to go, really. And I think when people feel like they're not enough, it is purely due to how we are all conditioned within society, and the fact that people who maybe I've worked with millionaires to people who don't have a lot of money, and they both have the same belief system. So it comes from such a deep, deep disconnection from our truth that we are God source energy incarnated into human beings. When we actually start to step into that energy, we're like, hold on, of course I'm enough. Like it would be balderdash to think that I'm not enough. Yes, sometimes we might think we're not good enough to complete a task. Maybe we don't have enough skill or whatever, but we are always enough no matter what. Um, and because it's perpetuated in society that you are only enough when you have the best grades in school, you're only enough when you have the gold star, you're only enough when you have the 6-7 figure job, you're only enough, and then when you have a big house, like all the externalities, we start to lose ourselves because we put our enoughness outside of us. And so then it's going to always be an empty well, a bottomless well of nothingness. But when we find the enoughness within us, when we get to that 6-figure, 7-figure salary, it's amazing. It feels great, but we don't need it to feel like we are enough. So what I would suggest to people who are listening, and I know that the majority, everyone's like, yeah, you know what? Like, actually, I don't think I'm enough. And I do put a lot of my importance into externalities. I just say like, okay, we'll start to recognize that and start to see, where does my not enoughness come from? And then start to look at, do I ever think that other people are not enough? No, you don't. You never would ever think, ugh, you're just not enough, because it's just not what you would do. So why would you think a bit about yourself? Start
Mhm.
to think really through how you treat others. Is you like you would know, what is that, the thing that you say in ministry? Treat others like you'd like to be treated. What is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Treat others how you would like to be treated.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Treat others how you would like to be treated, right? So treat yourself how you treat others. That's what it should be. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you treat others kindly, you should be treating yourself kindly. Why would you do the opposite? So just start to examine where it's coming from, what beliefs you have, and just know that your parents were doing the best that they could. Even if they were really shitty fucking parents, just know that they were really doing the best that they could with the tools that they had. No person is out there to purposely harm someone. They just don't have the tools to do otherwise.
Hello, Soulish Tribe. So I know that I'm not alone and always feeling thirsty. Even though I hydrate throughout the day, I'm always feeling that I need more water, especially after those cycling classes. My friends James and Mark over at Zaka have the perfect solution. Zaka's Hydration and Liverade is the #1 recovery and hydration solution for working out, jet lag, or drinking maybe just a little too much. Zaka uses herbs such as Japanese raisin as well as other natural and fermented ingredients that are safe and without artificial flavors. Zaka is unique because it doesn't just replenish what your body needs, but also supports your body's natural ability to recover. It's 2 very, very yummy and berry chewable tablets that you can put under your tongue or chew up and swallow. Go to Zaka.com, that's ZACA.com, and use promo code SOULISH15 to get 15% off of your order. If you're needing healing and an integration of that healing, I've just released a healing package that is just for that purpose. My healing package allows you to truly invest in your healing with 4 2-hour sessions that will support you to reveal, heal, and integrate. Whether you're going through a difficult time or simply want to dig deeper, this package is here for you and with a 50% discount. I truly care that my clients not only experience healing, connection, and freedom during our sessions, but in their everyday lives as well. And this is a typical issue that I see with people that just book one session, is that they miss that integration piece that is so important. Go to whitneyapke.com/book to invest in your healing now. In moving into your most authentic self, a lot of times it's that that comparison, right? And so we're comparing authenticity and what that looks like, and trying to navigate, even finding what is my most authentic expression. And we live in a world where now we get to see everyone express themselves, and wondering if that is truly who they are or not.
Right.
And then trying to be that, because that looks good, that looks successful, that looks fun, that looks, they look happy. And that's something that we struggle with like the social media and media in general, is it's really hard to distinguish like what is authentic,
And I think everyone's authenticity is different, as you were just saying. And that's why I say shine your light your way, because the way I shine my light is going to be a different way to you. And the best way of understanding what your authenticity is to look at what your values are in life and whether you are matching those values. If you're not matching those values, you're not being your authentic self. So I am a very loud, gregarious, charismatic person, but I don't expect the whole world to be like that either, because that's just who I am. But then some people may think, oh, well, in order for me to be successful, I have to do exactly like what Andrew's doing, so I'm going to have to be loud. But if that's not who you are, then it's just going to bounce back and the energy is not going to be picked up on the right frequency, because people will see through the bullshit, because they'll be like, that's just not their authentic self. And so it is a trial and error experience of starting to really listen to say, what is it that I want? Who do I want it to be? And the best way of looking at that is to look at when you were a child. What were you like? How were you when you were a kid before all of the shitty conditioning that you went through? Were you the quieter kid that was more observant and sensitive, or were you the more like kid that was in the spotlight and that was loud and gregarious? And don't have any judgment towards it, but just look at what you were like between the ages of 0 and 3, and that will give you a good idea of what your authentic self is. But most of us, if not all of us, our authentic self is joy. So don't think that you don't deserve joy, because we all deserve to be in the energy of joy.
And, in our session, we really focused on like my limited beliefs around money, of being supported. And I think oftentimes that's one of the most probably ways that we don't feel quite safe or comfortable moving into our most authentic self, because we're not sure if we're going to be supported or accepted there, or brought in, loved, acknowledged, respected. It could be so many things, right, that we could put on top of that. But I can see how, like, for myself personally, I didn't think that I would be accepted or supported, by the universe, by family, by, whatever. And I know that so many other people probably feel that in their own way. And so
Right.
how do we recognize those beliefs? Because I don't know if I fully knew that before our session. Is there a way that we can recognize that? Is that like how we manifest, things? Or if things aren't manifesting, is that one
Yeah.
way?
Um, I would say yes. So there's a lot of people who may have grown up and what their authentic self wasn't accepted and loved and cared for, so they chose to be a different version. It's very common in the gay community, but it would also be common in maybe the religious community, where maybe you didn't really resonate with that and you wanted to be different, but you had to kind of go into that energy. So I would say around what you're talking about and how we can recognize that is that's a good question. I'm trying to think. Okay, let's see. Can you ask the question again? I just got
Yeah,
lost.
all good. Um, is there a way for us to recognize when we believe that we are not going to be accepted or supported by stepping in, or being, or
Okay,
moving
yes, I
from a
got it.
place of authenticity? Yeah.
The most important thing is, in order for us to step into our authentic selves, we need to have a very solid foundation with the universe and trusting that there is something outside of us that is supporting us all along the way. And so if you are having doubts that you would be able, so let's say, for example, your authentic self wants to do a job which maybe in hindsight is not seen as the most glorious or well-respected job, but that's what you want to do. You need to know that the universe is fully supporting you. But if you don't believe in that, then you're going to fail at what you're doing. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
that's why the whole authentic piece, your connection with the universe, is so, so, so important. Because if you feel fully supported and guided and know that the universe is always there for your highest good at all times, when you step into authenticity, you'll know that you're being supported no matter what. But if you have any doubts, that will be reflected back at you to try and consolidate more your relationship with the universe. Does that answer your question? I don't know if it
Yeah,
did.
totally.
It
Yeah,
may not have.
because I think it did, because yeah, basically it comes down to the root of trusting that you are supported, you are loved, that it doesn't all have to be generated from you. And I think that's part of the American mentality, is that you make yourself successful. Like, it is all on you, all on your back. And that's also been part of like what has been celebrated, you know, is independence, and anyone can be a business owner, and anyone can do it. This is the land of opportunity, right? But at the same time, it's like, but it's on you,
Yeah, right.
and that's
and
kind of
and
hard.
and that's really, really terrifying. And that's why when I work with my clients, like, you are co-creating, you're never doing anything on your own. And to think that you're doing things on your own is incredibly arrogant, because actually hello, the universe is constantly working around you, and nothing is accidental, and all of your experiences are divinely timed through the universe, source energy. So when you're able to step into that energy and realize that you're co-creating, and realizing that everything is actually happening as a partnership, it takes it takes the pressure off of you. How did I become so successful? Like, I was actually just thinking as you're speaking, love. I continuously tune into the energy of love, which we all are predominantly. That's what we are. We are love and energy. Like, everything is energy. So how do you attract more people into your environment? You are of a higher frequency or higher energy. How do you do that? You commune with the universe and understand, learn, what do I need to shift to like get into that frequency? What do I need to do today? Like, I'm constantly communicating every morning, every day, really, like every minute of the day, with the universe, being like, okay, so what do I do now? Like, what should I do? And I say the universe, it could be my intuition. It's all interconnected because it's all interwoven into the same thing. But when you do that, then you're like, yo, I've got like, God's my CEO. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're partners in this, and I'm constantly like communicating with him, them, they, whatever, and getting the information that I need in order to move forwards where I need to go. You're never on your own. And I think that's the biggest thing, is people who feel stuck or feel like they're not moving forwards are not either listening correctly to the information that they're getting, or they're just not trusting the information that they're getting.
Yeah. I think too, a big player in this, and we've kind of been in this weird kind of energy of victim, of like we're subjected to something, like there's a lack of control, and kind of like um I think just being subjected to things, or things happening outside of our ability to choose. And there's just a lot of really interesting energy in the world right now with, I won't even say what it is because it's a lot of things. It's not just that. But I think the victim mentality is one too, that I know for me personally, that's been a constant battle. But I know that that's also one way where we end up not trusting the universe, because we feel like things are happening to us, not for us. And I think that can be one way, right, that we don't feel comfortable or safe stepping into authenticity.
Yeah.
Because, well, what if like your most authentic self gets rejected, or gets hurt or bruised, or you're not supported, or something happens that you feel like that part of you has been taken away from you too, right?
And the only reason your authentic self will get rejected is if you reject your authentic self. If you fully own who you are, it's not going to get rejected ever. And you can see that with certain celebrities who just own their uniqueness, who they are, their weirdness, and people just love it. Yeah, of course you're going to have haters. You're going to have haters all the time, but that's not about you. That's about them. Do you know what I mean? And you won't get affected by their, if it affects you, it means there's something within you. If there's someone that's hating on you, but it doesn't affect you, it means that it's them and it's their shit. You know what I mean? And
That's
just to
so
touch,
good.
yeah,
That's so
just
good.
to touch upon something, around the universe and difficult situations and punishment. Like, you talked about like, what are my highlights, but like, what are my lowlights is my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer in November. My really good friend was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in September, and she's my age. And then another family friend who was my nanny and who brought me up was diagnosed with cancer as well. So lots of people with cancer, and it's very sad and difficult. And I've moved home back to France to look after my mother and my father, to help support. And I broke up with my boyfriend of 7 years. That was another way. That was my authentic truth, and I had to follow that truth. You know what I mean? And sometimes following your authentic truth is really uncomfortable, and people don't understand it. But you're not here to help other people understand. You're meant to just listen. And this is what I did. I asked. I always ask. I always say, "Is this what I need to do?" I'm always communicating with my higher self, my whatever, and it's always bringing me on the right track. But around my father, I've come to such a place within myself where I am totally at peace. And then with all the other stuff that's going, I'm just like, this is meant to happen. There is something that I'm meant to come out of this, learn from, and there's no reason or need for me to feel sorry or sad or upset or angry, because it's just part of life. And there is going to be lessons through it all. and what is going on right now and around the world, not only in that country, why am I avoiding the name Ukraine, but all around the world and all the different countries, is here to teach us something. And if we start to fall into the fear category of like, oh my God, there's going to be a third world war, it's going to be all shit, like you're basically feeding into what it wants you to feed into. You just need to step into more love and know that everything's happening for a reason, everything's going to be okay. And I truly believe that, hand on heart, 100%. And that's reflected back in my life. And I really do believe that if you can start to connect to that more, to like everything's happening for a reason, even the shit fucking stuff that gets thrown at me is happening for a reason. You no longer become the victim, you become the hero of your story, and you start to move forwards fast. You elevate, you start to move into self-actualization really quickly, because you no longer get pulled down by thinking that everything's accidental, and you know that everything's happening for a reason.
Yep. And that's basically also true to your program and stepping in to your authenticity, right?
Yeah.
Can you, before we end here on this is like amazing. Can you share with people like what happens in the program, what the program looks like, kind of how it's run? Because I think that would really help people to.
Yeah, of course, of course. So it's a program that is over 4 months, 3 sessions a month with a 1-week integration period. And it starts off with the first session, which is a 2-hour session where we get into a blueprint of what your authentic self truly is and what is preventing you from getting to that. So in my other previous programs, we had pillars, and whereas now it's like, actually what I realized is I need to be way more, some people need to work on visibility for 4 weeks rather than just 1 week, right? So it's really understanding what is needed for you as yourself to get into that authentic version of who you are. And then over those next 11 sessions, we find the beliefs that are preventing you from stepping in that. We look at the memories that are keeping you stuck in that energy. And we look at where it's set within your body and the vibrational scale in your body as well. So that's how it kind of pans out. On top of that, you get access to me as a coach on Voxer between Monday and Friday. You get like a full card reading. Like there's so many other freebies as well. And it has a huge discount on it because it's the first time I'm doing this program. So there is a big discount on it as well. So it's the first time I do this, but like I just know it's going to be huge for so many people, because yeah, it's exactly what people need to step into their authentic selves. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Totally. And I just want to give a shout out. Because I think I just had an hour and a half session with you, and it was a one-off that you felt I needed when we were chatting online, and man, like I just felt like in so many ways things were coming up and shifting, and just in an hour and a half. Now I can't imagine I can't imagine what I would look like, smell like, act like, all of those things if I had freaking 11 sessions with you. So I just want to say, like, snag that spot, whoever is feeling it, snag that spot, because I think it's amazing. Like, you're an amazing blessing. And I think everything you say resonates, and I know it's resonating for the listeners right now, where it's like, it really is, it's simple little things, but it's work. It's work
Yeah.
to acknowledge, to recognize it, then to integrate is so important. And I think that there's a lot that we can do on our own,
Yeah,
but there's
there
a
is.
lot where we need it would be beneficial, right? If we're feeling the call to work with somebody. And I just love your heart. God, it's not just even, yeah, your heart's amazing, but also just like who you are, your personality. It's so disarming. And so I think for people that are like maybe a little nervous or apprehensive of like, oh, but someone's gonna get all up in my stuff, like you're the perfect person for somebody to like work with on that. So I just want to vouch for that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, because it can be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It
for
can be
sure it
like
can
very
be.
revealing, you
Yeah,
know? So
definitely.
having somebody that is a safe place, and that's what I enjoy about you, just even on a friendship level. But in working with you, it's like, wow, you create such a safe container to flow and to to channel. And I love how you do things. It's just amazing. It makes me reflect back and look on, who am I and how would I be, like if I was Andrew right now, how different would I be? It was like in my flavor, it's like your authenticity creates and inspires authenticity. Does that make sense? I guess
Yeah,
that's
for
what I'm
sure.
trying to say. It's like
Yeah.
almost, it's like, wow, like how would I be like in this moment, if I was my most authentic self and I was operating in this way? How would that express itself? And I just love that you literally inspire authenticity. You encourage people to step into that, and that's beautiful work, because that's healing. It's helping people connect with themselves in a way that we all need. Because instead of being so caught up in the victim and in the story and in the fear and the propaganda, whatever it is, the narrative, it's like, if we could just focus back on who we are and our purpose and why we came here, what we came here to learn, what we came
Right.
here to do, the world would be a different place.
It sure would. And thank you so much for those really kind words. And I think, that is what is missing on this planet, is people living authentically. Because when you live authentically, you live in alignment. And if you live in alignment, sadness, anger, all of those emotions that can really overwhelm us don't become the norm anymore. And joy, happiness, gratitude, expansion becomes your norm. And I think that's what the world needs, is people more in that energy. And when you're in that energy, you can move mountains, and you then become that vibrational frequency that when people are around, they automatically raise their frequency. So you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for everyone else, because you become a domino effect. And I think that's what's really cool.
So connected. Even though
We're
you're in
all,
France, I'm in
yes.
Denver. We're so connected.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time, Andrew. This has been a beautiful, beautiful conversation. And I love the work you do. And again, all the links will be in the show notes for people that want to follow you, want to work with you. I'll have the link to his linked page, that Linktree, I think, or something like that, where you show different links for the program. Um, and as well as working with you, and if you're interested, and you can submit a form and all of that, and get in contact, or DM Andrew too. So you're always available, and I love that you're always willing to speak with people. You're not
Yeah.
above working with
No way.
anyone.
Oh
So
my
I love
God.
that.
No way.
I
No
love that
way.
about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Whitney.
Yay.